we need to talk because what just happened is completely unacceptable, and I'm at a loss for words. Recording this immediately after the end of the thrilling Arlington Renegades versus DC Defenders game, and I'm pissed off. I'm at a loss for words. You have this amazing game with 3 points separating the two teams, Arlington driving down the field, and ABC decides to cut over to NBA Countdown. It was, I think, 3:08 when they decided to make the cut over. And you know, I understand doing it right at the 2-minute warning during a commercial break or something like that. But they did it mid-play. I missed 2 plays trying to switch over to ESPN2. And if you're trying to grow this league right now, you can't be doing these things. And I think we learned where ESPN sits with the UFL. This video is going to be more of a rant and me getting off the ring rust of taking a month off. My work schedule has been insane, but I've been keeping up with the UFL. I've been following the UFL. I've been tweeting about the UFL, more so complaining about officiating, which we'll talk about in this video. But we got to talk. This channel has the roots in Spring League football, and I have a large passion for Spring League football. When I lived in DC in 2023, I went to as many DC Defenders games as I could. I was actually supposed to go to today's game in DC, but my work schedule got so chaotic that I just couldn't make it down to DC from New Jersey. ESPN views the UFL as just a way to market their betting company, which, as a gambler, or as someone who's not a gambler, and someone who more so follows the stories of sports and wants to see sports and the players grow, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But gambling is a big part of the sports culture these days. Whether I like it or not, it's always going to be a part of sports. But when you have a crucial game as you're trying to build up a league, which ESPN has financial incentive to make sure the UFL stays strong, and you decide to tell those fans and to tell those casual viewers, because the ABC game's the most viewed game every week this season, oh, this isn't as important as NBA Countdown, we're going to cut over to ESPN2, you're crushing and killing the league. Now, the league's done a lot of things to really hurt themselves this season, which we'll talk about later on in this video. This is more of an unstructured video, more of me kind of crashing out ranting, but I just felt like it was the perfect way to come back, to express some of my personality and to share where my mind is with a lot of this stuff compared to my usual storytelling and more structured videos that I usually do with a script and everything else. This is just my thoughts. So you have a company that wants to promote their gambling company, which ESPN bets. I would like the government to get involved to see if there's any possibility of that being monopolistic as the worldwide leader in sports that ESPN claims it is. But along with that, you cut over to NBA Countdown. NBA Countdown, the pregame show. The game's not supposed to tip off till 3:30. The game's probably, from what I saw, isn't actually tipping off to game till 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm recording this at 3:35. It's Game 7. You're getting a bunch of casual viewers in. If you want to build this league, leading the UFL into Game 7 of the OKC Thunder versus the Denver Nuggets, it's a great opportunity. But instead, you tell those casual viewers, no, actually, this is something you really shouldn't really worry or care about. We're going to move it over to ESPN2 because our pregame show is more important. What are we doing? What's going on? Why? Do you want to see this league fail? Do you want to see it succeed? Fox does a great job with their broadcast. They talk about the betting elements, but it's not forced down your throat like every 5 minutes it is on the ESPN and ABC broadcast. But again, gambling's a part of the sports culture. I got to get over that viewpoint. I got to get over it. It's here to stay. It's here to stay with college football. It's here to stay with the NFL. But if you're an owner of this league and you want to see this league succeed, why are you cutting over to a pregame show during a crucial game? Especially with playoffs on the line for both teams. And on top of that, it's a 3-point game. This isn't the blowout earlier in the season when I think Arlington was blowing someone out and they switched over to the MLB game on Fox. That's different. It's a blowout. I get that. You want to make sure you keep your viewership in. But this is with 155 left in the game, 3-point game, and you don't even switch at a commercial break. You switch right over out of nowhere. It was a snap on the dime. Oh, by the way, we're switching over to ESPN2. We'll see you over there if you want to stay. And then the NBA countdown picture comes in. What? Who thought that's a good idea? It degrades the league. And along with that, the league really dropped the ball when it comes to the playoffs this year. DC and Michigan might clinch the 1 seeds for both conferences. Yet they're not going to be able to host playoff games. Instead, they're going to have to travel to the 2 seed teams to play the playoff games because the XFL couldn't lock down Audi Field and wouldn't change dates with their television partners to make the Audi Field deal stuff work. And Detroit couldn't lock down Ford Field. We don't know why they couldn't lock down Ford Field. It's just been reported as a no-go. So once again, your most important games of the season, you're told, oh yeah, we're a second, third tier league. And I get it. I get that's the reality of this league. But where it stands right now. But if you want to build this league up, see it succeed, be here for the long term, you can't let that be the image the casual fan sees. I'm going to watch the game no matter what. I've watched about 85% of the games this year when I can. I'm a content creator who covers spring league and alternate football leagues as well as college football. That doesn't bother me as much, except the fact that I'm a DC Defenders fan and now DC's going to have to go play in the Battlehawk in the Dome in St. Louis as a 1 seed that they earned if things stay the way they are. Now, DC can go and lose to Houston and lose to St. Louis, and St. Louis could end up locking up the 1 seed, and this points doesn't matter. And same thing can happen to Michigan. But the fact that it's a talking point right now, where we are in the season, the 3rd year of the USFL and XFL being back both at the same time, and the 2nd year of the UFL, it's a drop of the ball. Once again, something we've been talking about all year long. They keep dropping the ball. And what does that say to the casual fan? What does that say to the fans who invest the money into the league as well? DC Defender fans are some of the most passionate fans. As someone who's been there and someone who's watched every DC Defender game, they care. But what are you telling them? Hey, it doesn't matter that you guys showed up. We're not playing a home game. If you knew this might be an issue, why didn't you try to find an alternate venue for that playoff game in the DC, Maryland area? Talk to the University of Maryland. Talk to stadiums around the DC area. Make it work. Don't make DC go and travel to St. Louis and say it's a home game for them, but they're playing in St. Louis. What does that say for Michigan fans as well? Michigan's built up a pretty strong fan base this year. From being one of the worst attendances last year to being one of the better attendances this year, and you're telling them, oh yeah, it's not good enough. We're not even going to be hosting a playoff game, even though our team might have earned the playoff game. And that's official. That's been announced. The game's being played in Birmingham, no matter what happens. What does that say about the league? What does that say to the fans? What does that say to the passionate fans? And what does that say to the casual fan? I want to see this league flourish. I have a huge announcement coming out tomorrow. That's going to be involving a CFL video, but it's also something, a side note, that I've had going on in the background over the past few months. And there's a reason I want to see this stuff succeed. Because I'm connected with some of these players that might get the opportunity to play in these leagues. I want to see these guys get to play extra football. The guys that fly under the radar. I want to tell their stories. I want to see all this succeed. I love having football in the spring. I think the league should kick off in February and not when it's kicking off right now. Because I think you run into a lot of other issues as you try to create a passionate fan base. And the fans showed up in DC in February, so you can't even talk about cold weather keeping fans away. But you look at Houston, less than 4,000 fans at their games the past few weeks. Birmingham on Mother's Day had less than 4,000 fans at their stadium, and that's where you're going to play a playoff game? They better not make it the 1 p.m. kickoff or the 12 p.m. kickoff, or it's going to be a terrible view for the league of a casual fan just coming across it. The marketing team dropped the ball, and we've been talking, every UFL content creator, everybody involved in the league, everybody who wants to see this league succeed has talked about it over and over again, yet they have not taken the criticism. And what we've tried to do is be constructive criticism. They've not taken it and learned from it. They've instead stayed brute force, run through the wall, keep things going the way they're going. And if they keep going in this direction, the league's not going to last. The talent's there. We had some of the most exciting games this year. The officiating needs improvement. Don't get me wrong. It's not been great. But the play on the field by the players and the passion by the players on the teams, no one phones it in. There's so much passion, and there's so much bigger names being linked to the game year in and year out. And as this league grows, it could provide more opportunities for the guy who's sitting third or fourth string for the NFL. And I know there's a group of fans that don't care. Okay. It's okay. You don't need to care about seeing a developmental football league. But the UFL is always going to be a developmental football league. That it's just the reality of the situation. It's never going to be the NFL. It's never going to be college football, but that's okay. If you love football and you want to watch football year round, like I do, I'm fine with that. And you're not going to outpace the NBA or other these major leagues. That's not the goal of this. Maybe 10 years, maybe it does, but it's never going to catch the NFL. It's never going to be an alternative to the NFL. I mean, look at what happened when the USFL tried to compete with the NFL back in the 80s. It's never going to be the NFL. The play's never going to be to the upper echelon of the top 32 quarterbacks in the world. But that's okay. The league isn't supposed to be that. The league is supposed to be a place where players can prove they belong and show they belong, and should get that opportunity to the NFL. And then you have guys like Jordan Teamu, who probably doesn't get an NFL opportunity again as he gets older. Luis Perez as well. They might get a minicamp invite, but they're getting on the older side. But they could be your face of the leagues for the next few years as you develop other younger talent. And the more players that go on to play in the NFL, the better your product looks. Oh, where did this guy come from? Oh, he came from the UFL? Let me go watch the UFL this year to see if I could catch the next great guy. Football's amazing. I love football. I love college football. I've soured on the NFL, to be completely honest, over the years. Just because it's become so expensive to watch games and to even go to a game. But the UFL provides that opportunity for families to go to games. It is a way to watch football when there's not football on. If you're not a baseball fan, if you're not an NBA fan, if you're not an NHL fan, if you just love football and just want football. Football is king in America. There's a market for it. You just need to show people why or where to watch these games and why they matter to the cities. They provide job opportunities for people in the cities that they're located in. They provide job opportunities for the players, coaches, officiating. NFL officiating might get better because of the UFL because people can go train in the UFL. It's important to have if we want to see football as a whole get better. But you can't have companies like ESPN dropping the ball and switching the game over for NBA Countdown with 2 minutes left in a game. If it went to overtime, that makes sense. Switch it over to ESPN2 because it might affect the tip-off for the NBA Game 7 of the conference semifinals. I get that. But there were still 20 minutes before the official tip-off of that game when they decided to switch over. And I'll tell you, you blew an amazing opportunity to get a casual fan invested into football because the way that game ended, especially with Joe Tessitore calling the end of that game, was beautiful. But the casual fan didn't see it. Because the casual fan who was clicking on to ABC to watch the NBA conference semifinals didn't see it because they weren't switching over to ESPN2. It was a blown opportunity. along with a bunch of other blown opportunities in the marketing aspect of the league, it was a drop of the ball for the league once again, and I don't know how many drops of the balls they have left. I'm exhausted defending this league over and over again and telling people why they should care about this league. And I love this league. So what does that say about the casual fan? Or the person who's not super passionate, but may have an interest, but sees this stuff go on and decides, I'm not even going to waste my time because it's not going to be here in another year or two. You can't have that. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Danny Garcia, Redbird Capital, Fox, ESPN need to take this upcoming offseason, reevaluate what they're doing, figure out, okay, if we don't want to invest in this league, then we need to sell it to someone else who is going to invest in the league, or bring in, my least favorite thing, private equity, to bring the money in to invest more into this league to get the marketing push out, to get teams being able to locate in their cities year-round. That should be the goal of this all. You should have the players involved in the communities and the cities they're playing in, and that's how you bring fans in for local attendance, among other things, and that's how you build the product. Make the kid look at the player at the local coffee shop or at a charity event, say, I want to be like him one day. I don't want to buy his jersey. That's how you market this league. I've tried to get involved with the UFL multiple times, to be straightforward. I never heard anything back from them. And I'm just some schmuck from Jersey who runs a YouTube channel. And you know what? What do I know? And if there's better people involved, good. I hope they get to show what they're doing. But the path the UFL is on right now is not sustainable. And I don't want to see it die. I want to see it succeed. I love having football in the spring. But ESPN, Fox, Redbird Capital, you got to figure it out. Because the players are showing out this year. This weekend had 3 amazing games go down to the wire. The past few weeks have had a few amazing games go down to the wire. And it's been so much fun to be involved in. But it's exhausting trying to do the work the UFL should be doing as an independent creator, along with the other fantastic UFL content creators that are out there. There's a fan base for this league. The league just can't take advantage of that fan base, because while we'll go and defend the league left and right and tell all the haters, hey, no, this is good football. You should care. This is why you should care. At some point, we're going to be too tired to do it. And after 5 years of covering spring football, I'm slowly getting to this point, because why should I care if the league doesn't even care? This is someone whose YouTube channel has roots in the XFL in 2020. That's my rant. I know it wasn't a structured video. I know this is more of like a podcast episode. But I just had to get these thoughts out. I kind of had to blow off some steam, to be honest with you guys. But share where I am with this league, and to see if you guys are feeling any sort of way similar to how I'm feeling about the direction of the league. I want to see this league succeed. I want to see all the players succeed. I want guys to have an opportunity to continue playing football to provide for their families. At all levels: arena football, EFL, German football, Finnish football, Italian football, Brazilian football, the UFL, the NFL. But when it comes to the UFL, they need to look themselves in the mirror. It's getting to that time, because it's getting exhausting. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this, 20-minute rant. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Things aren't usually just me ranting. It's usually more scripted. I call myself a storyteller, for being honest. But I just felt the best way to come back after taking a month off was to express where I was with the UFL and kind of explain why I haven't been posting about the UFL the past few weeks. But thank you so much for watching. As always, remember to embrace the grind.